Do you believe that right in the heart of the world's financial capital, there are children growing up without knowing what their home looks like? The truth is that in London, on average, each classroom currently has at least one homeless student. While tourists are busy spending extravagantly in Westminster, the district authorities are struggling to spend millions of pounds each day just to rent temporary hotels for more than 1,000 people sleeping on the streets. Alarmingly, in the epicenter of Newham, 59 out of every 1,000 households are living in temporary accommodations. This crisis is no longer a faint shadow. It is a brutal reality devouring the public budget with a horrifying figure of £4 million per day across the city. The 10 key areas below are not only hotspots you need to be cautious of avoiding, but also living proof of a welfare system on the brink of collapse. Is the place you live in on this list? Let's start with the first nightmare. Do you remember a glamorous Westminster of the 80s where the luxury of Leicester Square or the Strand was the pride of an entire empire? But today, if you stroll here as night falls, the most dazzling thing is not the neon signs of the theaters, but perhaps the thermal foil of those who have chosen the sidewalk as their bed. Westminster today is not only the center of power, but also the capital of cardboard boxes. Numbers don't lie, but they know how to shock us. In the third quarter of 2025, there were as many as 1,053 people sleeping outdoors here. If we consider the entire period of 2024-25, this number rises to 2,612 people, double that of the neighboring Camden district. How paradoxical it is that a system is pouring millions of pounds each day into temporary accommodation hotels to hide its failures right next to luxury shops where tourists are still busy spending. The rate of households living in temporary accommodation here reaches 33.6 per 1,000 households. We are witnessing a social welfare system collapsing right where it was born. The paradox is that Westminster, which is home to the most support services, inadvertently becomes a magnet attracting all the despair of London. And how do we treat them? Instead of a roof over their heads, the system sends eviction orders from public spaces and introduces new criminal justice bills threatening to fine even those who don't have a single penny to their name. It seems we are prioritizing cleaning up the view over saving a life. If we have enough budget to preserve centuries-old heritage buildings, why don't we have enough to preserve the dignity of the people lying under the eaves of those very buildings? What do you think about the government spending millions to rent hotel rooms instead of building real homes? Leave your comments below. But Westminster is just the tip of the iceberg. Step away from the spotlight and head east, where the numbers become even more brutal. If Westminster embodies contrast, then Newham is where the most heartbreaking realities of London are hidden. Here, you might not see as many tents along the streets, but don't let appearances deceive you. Newham leads the entire capital with a staggering statistic: 58.9 out of every 1,000 households are living in a state of homelessness. For every 17 households you pass, one does not truly have a proper roof over their head. This is not just about people sleeping under bridges. This is a silent urban crisis. Thousands of families are trapped in makeshift rooms and expensive temporary housing funded by public money. The most devastating impact falls on children. Newham contributes heavily to the 85,000 children trapped in temporary housing across London. While we praise the education system, the reality is that many students don't even know where they will sleep each night. Rising energy prices, inflation, and policy pressures have pushed even working families into crisis. People A. Food and shelter. Social housing has become a luxury rather than a right. Families are constantly relocated, communities are broken, and stability no longer exists. We are building the future of London on temporary hotel rooms instead of permanent homes. Moving north, we arrive at Camden, near King's Cross and Street Pancras. These are symbols of connectivity and movement, yet beneath them lies a harsh reality. Nearly 975 people were recorded sleeping outdoors. Despite building new homes, the demand far exceeds supply. Years of cuts to social services have left the system overwhelmed. Many individuals suffer from mental health issues but receive neither treatment nor stable housing. Instead, poverty is increasingly criminalized. Eviction policies such as Section 21 allow tenants to be removed without reason, making housing insecurity even worse. The crisis spreads west to Ealing, once considered a peaceful suburb. Now it ranks among the highest for street homelessness. Rising rents have pushed working individuals out of stable housing. These are not stereotypes. Many are employed people who simply cannot afford to live. The suburban crisis is quieter but more isolating, especially for children whose futures are disrupted. Further east, Tower Hamlets reveals one of the starkest wealth gaps. Beside the skyscrapers of Canary Wharf, homelessness exists at shocking levels. For every 41 residents, one is homeless. Rapid rent increases are displacing long-term communities. Even middle-class families are now vulnerable. The gap between wealth and poverty has become impossible to ignore. Brent highlights the financial burden of the crisis. The council spends enormous amounts daily on temporary housing, pushing it toward bankruptcy. Thousands wait years, sometimes decades, for social housing. In Lambeth, near Waterloo, homelessness is visible under bridges and along riverbanks. Families live in unsafe, unstable conditions while public services struggle to cope. Southwark faces long waiting lists that stretch nearly 2 decades. Housing demand far exceeds supply, leaving families trapped in uncertainty. Hackney shows the impact of gentrification. Once a working-class area, it has transformed into a luxury zone, pushing original residents out. Hidden homelessness is widespread, with people relying on temporary arrangements just to survive. Finally, Haringey represents a system under extreme pressure. Budgets are overspent, demand is rising, and temporary solutions are failing. Across London, this is no longer just a housing issue. It is a systemic crisis affecting the future of an entire generation. When 85,000 children grow up without stable homes, it is no longer a policy debate, it is a societal failure. London is no longer just a city of opportunity. It is becoming a landscape of temporary shelters and lost stability. If a safe home has become a luxury instead of a basic right, we must ask, what comes next? Are we truly progressing, or simply hiding the cracks beneath a polished surface? If you believe these stories matter, share this message. These are not just statistics. They are real lives.